Hi everyone, it's Michelle from Scrap Secrets and welcome to another Sketch Sunday video. This week's sketch comes to you from My Favorite Things, and I'm just showing you some of the supplies that we're going to be using. The Talk Bubble is from Simon Says Stamp. The stamp set is from My Favorite Things called No Place Like Home. It was from the home kit that they did a couple months ago from the card kit. They are and then I got the Birdhouse dies, which I believe those were one of my free with 60. I don't know exactly what they're called because they didn't come in the package. And then I'm using little clouds. So the first thing that I did was I took the Simon Says Stamp Talk die and I ran it through my Cuttlebug 2 different times, one with the white cardstock and one with the blue cardstock that you saw. And that cardstock was from Michaels. It was from their pattern paper line, the individual ones that they have. So now you see I'm taking that white piece of cardstock and I'm using some Distress ink and Tumbled glass and Salty Ocean to cover the back because this is a scene where the birdhouses and the birds are going to sit on top of. Now my tumbled glass, I think that the sponge blender has a little bit of green in it because I continue to get a tinge of green in it. It doesn't bother me that much, but I think I have to wipe it off and kind of start over again because I don't think it was from the ink that was on my fingers because I did have a lot of ink on there. But now I'm just going back in and blending those colors out a little bit. I like having a couple of the dark spots because it is sky and the sky is not all the same color and not very even. So I'm just cleaning off my mat and then putting the two pieces together to see how it's going to look. I'm just going to place the pieces on the front kind of where I think I want them just to see how I want the scene to look. So I'm placing that stuff on the side and now I'm going to start to take out some Copic markers, and I also took out one coloring marker and one Premier by Nicole marker. So the first birdhouse we're going to start off with is we're going to do it in red with two different colors of Copic markers. They are R14, which is light rouge, and R17 lipstick orange. So it's kind of like a reddish orange birdhouse. So I'm just going back in with both of the colors to blend it out. And then there's a little circle piece in the middle, and I thought it would look really good if I did it black, like you could see into the house, and hopefully it would give the birdhouse a little bit of dimension. So not only am I going around with that's a Studio G black marker that I got from Michaels. It was fairly inexpensive. I don't know if those were one of the dollar bin ones or if it was one of those like $1.50 markers. So I just went around, I did the front of it, and then I picked it up in my hands and I took the marker and went all the way around the sides of it so that all of the white from that circle would disappear. Because if it stuck up a little bit from the house, I didn't want you to be able to see that white. So there you go, I'm picking it up again and using the tip to just go around the edges of the circle. Those will be held in place with some pop dots, which you'll see in a minute, which you see on screen. There's the pop dots there. When I put the roof on, I realized I didn't color up far enough, so I'm going back in with the markers and kind of just blending everything out. Didn't want to do too much blending and shading. It's really not about the houses. And now I'm just picking the colors. I couldn't figure out what color I wanted my birdhouse to be. I didn't want it to make it look like Christmas in red and green because I thought maybe that's what it would look like, but I did end up going with the green anyway. So I'm going to use the Copic Ciao marker, RG06, which is called yellowish green. So that's going to be the first color. And then the second color is the hashtag coloring marker, BG7. I'm just going in and adding some highlights where the roof would be, as well as around where the circle is, that it's going to be the little black piece that goes in there. So I'm just coloring in pretty much the whole thing, putting that circle in and making sure that it looks okay. So now I'm going to pick my colors for the roof, and the colors that I'm going to use are both Copic Ciao markers, and they are E15, which is called Dark Suntan, and then E18, which is called Copper. So I'm going around the edges of those as well, on the sides and like on the underside and the top of the die cut, just to make sure again that those white pieces aren't seen when I put all of the roof together. So there you go, you can see that just picking it up. It was a little messy. I did get a lot of stuff on my fingers. I am not a clean crafter, especially when I use Distress ink and markers and I'm picking stuff up like this. I tend to get it all over my hands. So actually I'm looking at my hands right now and they're pretty blue. Sorry about that, my phone was dying and I had to, I wasn't sure that it was still videotaping. So now we're going to go on to the poles that hold the birdhouses up in place. So there's two of them, and I am taking a Premier by Nicole dual tip design marker in Walnut, and I'm taking the thicker chisel edge and just running it over the pieces. Now the pieces are not all the same. I wanted to make it look like real wood, and real wood has different variations in it, so you'll notice that it's not an even consistent tone. So for one of the birds, I picked up Y06, which is just yellow, and I colored that bird in. And then I wasn't sure about the second bird because I didn't want him to blend in too much to the background, but I picked up a blue anyway, and it's B05, which is called Processed Blue. But it was a different enough color, and he's actually going to be sitting on the house, so it's not going to blend into the background. So I forgot to show you that's what color it is. And now I'm just trying to figure out my next step. So I was looking for a black pen, which I had on the other side of my desk. So I just grabbed the white gel pen to make sure that I could put little dots in the eyes, because their eyes kind of got hidden. The yellow is harder to see. I'll probably go back in with my Pilot V5 pen and do some, put the dot in the yellow bird's eye. But with the blue one, you can really see the white marker, the white gel pen. And so I'm taking my Zig 2A glue pen and attaching the roofs to the houses, to the little bird houses, to see how they look. Now I'm going to take the little posts and I'm going to take some Zig on the back of it, and I'm going to make them different lengths on there. I wanted the one to hang down a lot lower than the other one, so I'm just putting a little bit of glue on the back and then putting them on so that I can eventually attach the houses on that. Just putting it. Again, I like to play around with things. I'm not exactly sure really what I want to do when I started. I took a picture of where I thought things were going to be, and it came out differently than what I originally thought. So I thought putting the pop dot on the back would be a great way to keep that little black piece in line, because I knew I wanted it popped up. So I took one whole dot and put it in the middle of the red house, and then cut another one up and attached little pieces to the bottom and the top of the house. So that little black piece is attached, and then I will put that on the longer of the two posts that are there. And then I'll get started working on the green birdhouse. I did the same type of thing. I put one pop dot on the back of the greenhouse. Actually, now I cut off the edges. I don't know why I stopped and did that in the middle of it, but I decided to. So I put one pop dot in the middle of it so that I could go put the black piece on top like I did with the other one. And that's all I did and I used a little piece at the bottom to just to put a little more dimension on the house. That one's so small that you really didn't need to do that, but I went back in and decided to do it because the little piece that was left over was like the exact shape of the top of the house. So I just decided to pop those dots back on there and then put the house together. So now that the two houses are on, I use my Zig 2A glue pen to glue the birds down. The yellow one goes on the red birdhouse, and the blue one will go on the greenhouse. So I wanted to make one look like, originally I thought I wanted to make one flying, and then apparently I decided that to put one in, like going into the house, and the other one hanging off the corner. So that is what that piece looks like. Now I'm going to pop that back into place, and I did a piece of black cardstock that was 1/8 of an inch larger than the piece that I cut out, and that blue piece there is 3 3/4 by 5 inches, and then I cut out the talk bubble from that. So now I'm just putting it into place, and this is a little bit difficult because the sides aren't very stabilized because I cut the top of it off. So I hoped that it worked out, and it actually did. It stayed in place exactly where it was supposed to be. Now I'm taking my ATG gun and running some tape over so that I could put that piece on there instead of putting the piece with the dimension tape on the back with the piece of the dimension. So now I'm putting some clouds on. There is one part that I forget to do. You'll see I come back at the very end. I did forget to put that glitter glue that's there on the cloud, so I'll come back at the very end and show you what it looks like with the glitter glue put on it. I realized that after I turned the camera off. So I'm just putting the clouds where I want. Most things look good in odd numbers, so since I had the two houses, I kind of thought that I would put the 3 clouds there, and you saw that I cut part of the card off. Or sorry, part of the cloud off. Now I'm going to be stamping my sentiment from the stamp set, No Place Like Home, and it says Welcome to the Neighborhood. I'm using some My Favorite Things Black Hybrid Licorice ink, which is the ink that I really like to use when I'm stamping my sentiments. I think it gives a nice impression. I'm using my Perfect Stamp Press from Hampton Arts. I believe that's who it's from, and stamping the sentiment twice. I love that. I love the fact that you can do that. And now I'm gonna cut the piece into a banner. I never ever have luck with the banner. This one was a fluke, and I think that it came out really good. I cut the end of it off once I realized how long that I wanted the banner to be, and then I made a cut in the middle of it straight up, just a little piece, and then I took the corner to that top of that slit, and then I turned it over and did the same thing on the other side, and it was a successful banner cut. Usually, like I said, I don't have that. And then I went around the edges with some Salty Ocean Distress ink. I just used the ink that was left on my ink blending tool. I'm going to use my ATG gun to put some tape on the back of that and glue it to the front. And then we're going to use the ATG gun to put some tape on the back of the card and then connect it to the front. If you notice in the sketch, it is more, the image is more towards the top than it being an actual centered piece, so you'll notice that I put it a little bit towards the top, you know, like it is in the sketch. And again, this is a side folding card. It is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So there it is, and then I'll come back and show you it with the glitter on there with the clouds. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave them below. See you later. Bye.